Evening chaps, how's it going? This one probably could have waited for Sunday to be honest, but I've got a quiet night on and it pissed me off. Dominic Raab criticised over Game of Thrones comments, right? He says he has full respect for Black Lives Matter campaigners after he was criticised for comments about taking the knee. That's the first fucking paragraph. Like, the spineless bastard bottled it.
Just after watching the football last night, would you take a knee if you were asked to?
Do you know what? I understand this sense of frustration and restlessness which is driving the Black Lives Matters movement. I've got to say on this taking the knee thing, which I don't know, maybe it's got a broader history, but seems to be taken from the Game of Thrones, feels to me like a symbol of subjugation and subordination rather than one of liberation and emancipation. But I understand people feel differently about it, so it's a matter of personal choice.
So would you or wouldn't you do it?
Take the knee for two people, the Queen and the Missus, when I asked her to marry me.
Just finally, let's talk about the future just very briefly. Brexit, Emmanuel Macron.
By the way, she disputes that. I had this conversation last night. I'm sure I did, but we'd obviously had too much champagne at the time. But I'm certain I did.
We'll check with her next time we speak.
What was unreasonable about that? Like, what part of it was unreasonable? Did he say, I don't like taking a knee and also gas everyone that's black? Did he say, it feels a bit like a gesture of subjugation, let's go and hang us a few of them there black fellers? No, he didn't. He's the Foreign Secretary for fucking England, a country with no history of slavery, lynching, fucking violence against blacks, police brutality, nothing. Less black people have died as a result of police brutality in the UK than have been hit by fucking lightning. That's how rare it is. If any country's mastered not being a fucking horrible bastard copper, it's Britain. And seriously, right, does anyone think he's wrong? In the UK, kneeling is extremely, I don't know about Africa and Asia and the Middle East, but seriously, to any normal, run-of-the-mill Englishman, kneeling is a symbol of total subjugation. Like, unbelievably so. It's culture. Our culture would say, no, I am not kneeling for anyone. Like, if 25 Black Lives Matter activists cornered me outside a pub, held a gun to my head and said, kneel, they would have to blow my fucking head off. I've talked to my friends about this and said, well, it's all well and good saying you don't think anyone should be mistreated and everyone should be treated fairly and equally. And who doesn't think that? Everyone should have the right to pursue happiness in whatever way they deem fit. Total equality under the law, blind justice. I agree with all of it. But I'm not kneeling for some Marxist fucking movement. No way, you will have to blow my fucking head off. Sorry, I'm a stubborn twat. Keir Starmer's having a go at him straight away. It wasn't a very wise thing to say. Why? Why is it not wise? Why is it not a wise thing to say, standing against a radical Marxist group? You tell me why that's not a wise thing. And David Lammy said it's insulting and deeply embarrassing. Insulting. I disagree with a far-left activist group, therefore insulting. Insulting to who? Do you know how many black people don't agree with fucking Black Lives Matter? Pretty much all of Dominic Raab's party, for fucking starters. Zuby, there's a good famous one. Kanye, there's loads of people who've spoke out against it. So who the fuck is David Dogshit to open his mouth and say it's deeply embarrassing and insulting? What a fucking pile of absolute shite. And I'm not going to click on it because I'll segue into it and then I'll go on a massive tirade and I won't finish my video on Sunday. But Sterling gobbing off about players kneeling proper pisses me off. Like, poppies and any political gestures at all are totally fucking frowned upon by the Football Association and by FIFA. But everyone's allowed to go fucking conquer deep in the latest communist fucking revolutionary group. It's absolutely unbelievable. Dawn Butler has made an entire career out of being black. She's got no fucking credibility at all. She's a fucking idiot. What's Dawn Butler ever done? Speaking to Julia Attenborough, he said he understood the sense of frustration which is driving the BLM movement, but he said it didn't feel like a symbol of emancipation. He said, I understand people feel differently about it, so it's a matter of choice. The Queen and the Missus, when I asked her to marry me. Reasonable, logical, sensible, everyone would fucking concur with him. Unbelievable. Diane Abbott criticised him, saying taking the knee began in 2016 with American athletes refusing to stand for US. Again, what the fuck has it got to do with us? A country that was 99.99% white in 1940. There's a reason the beaches on Dunkirk didn't look like the cast of fucking Fame. Christ almighty. Bend the knee. Fucking look, he thinks it comes from Game of Thrones. He doesn't think that, Diane. Just because you have the mathematical abilities of a confused, drunk 4-year-old doesn't mean that he thinks bending the knee comes from a fictional novel that was written in 1997. You fucking dippy mare. Lib Dems leader Ed Davey said he should make a fulsome apology and said he should take the knee himself. Unbelievable. Listen. I don't know how to make this any more clear. You can't railroad people into supporting a movement that is explicitly political. A movement that's explicitly political and far left. And purely fucking interested in power. It's not about racism. They tacked racism on when they realised that they could win power by gathering up all of the minorities of every stripe. LGBT, women, Muslims, black, trans, disabled, you name it, and scoop them all under the umbrella of intersectionality. The working classes kept letting them down, and as soon as they had a sniff of promotion or they got a mortgage, they'd go, it's actually alright, this capitalist shit. It works. It's allowed me to provide for my family and have a good life. So the twats in charge of this disturbing movement realised they could gain political traction by selling it as something else. And the Black Lives Matter movement is about fucking nothing more than power for the far left. Marxists. Just look at let's look at the page and click on the founders of the group. Alicia Garza, full blown, as always, university educated, crazy fucking communist. Rights for this, rights for that, transgender, gender non-conforming, blah blah fucking blah. Next up, Patrisse Cullors. Oh look, she identifies as a queer activist. What else? Oh look, she got a degree in philosophy from UCLA. Oh, what else? In an interview, she also described herself and Alicia Garza as trained Marxists. I don't know who the fuck trains them, and I don't know who accredits the training. Like not like a plumber, but trained Marxists. And that's her describing herself and a fucking mate. Trained Marxists. Not, we think everyone should be treated equally. Fucking Marxists. Full-blown crazy bastards that prescribe to a fucking ideology that has butchered tens of millions. Who else? Opal Tometi. She's a Nigerian American fucking activist. Let's look at her background. She's got a Bachelor of Arts degree in History from the University of Arizona. She volunteered for the ACLU. I don't need to talk about those fucking twats. And she's an advocate for migrant rights. Wrote for HuffPo. I mean, Jesus Christ. Do I need to go on? Some dipshit on Quora had a go at me the other day and said, Black Lives Matter isn't Marxist. Nothing to do with Marxism. Well, read it your fucking self. Patrisse will tell you, hey, guess what? We're trained Marxists. I mean, it's not like I'm slurring the fuckers, they'll tell you themselves. So that is who Dominic Dogshit and fucking all of our weak as fuck, pathetic, spineless leaders, that is who they are bending over backwards to please. It's got nothing to do with race and everything to do with Marxism, communism, crazy shit that will fuck the entire country up and turn it into Venezuela, and they'll have to empty Edinburgh and fucking London Zoo, and everyone's going to be eating fucking giraffes, and then they'll start on the rats. That's what these dipshits are doing, bending over backwards for a bunch of fucking wackos. It's unbelievable. Seriously, like I keep saying, if Boris Johnson and Dominic Raab and none of the white guys have got the strength of mind to stand up and say no to an ideology that everyone in Britain, the 99%, thoroughly reject and always will reject and always have rejected, they need to stand aside and let somebody else fucking run the country. There's plenty of them. Let Rishi be in charge. I've never cared about race. I don't care what you look like or what you sound like or what you look or what colour you are. I care about your ideology. Your commitment to freedom and liberalism and equality for everyone. I don't care what you look like. I care what's in your head. He'll do. He's got the bottle to stand up to them because he happens to have a bit of a fucking tan. Make him the Prime Minister. Bima Falami, he's a black conservative. He cares about conservative values and liberalism. Make him the deputy. Fuck it. He'll do. Kemi Badenoch, she's good. She's a grafter. She can be the new Foreign Secretary. Yep, I'll have her. And Darren Henry, he resoundingly twatted Anna Soubry in 2019. So, perfect for the role. If it isn't obvious, I'm obviously being somewhat sarcastic, but the point is, I never wanted to play identity politics. I don't care what you look like, I care about what you think like. But Dominic Raab and Boris Johnson have proved themselves to be ineffectual and pathetically weak at standing up to an ideology that will destroy the UK. It will pull it apart, and everyone listening to this will have to eat the fucking family pet. So if these twats aren't going to do their job because they're so terrified of being labelled a racist, because they're so cowardly, our leaders, even it's like Gandalf casting a magic spell. You utter them words and they shit themselves and go, whoa. He should simply be saying, no, I'm not a racist, but I don't like communism, so shut the fuck up. Is that not acceptable? If they can't do the job, move over. Play them at their own game. Make the entire front bench, the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, black and minority ethnic. The whole lot of them. There's enough Conservatives now because unlike the Labour Party, they don't just throw the fucking rosettes at anybody who happens to have a tan. They pick them by merit. And you can see that by how intellectual and sensible the Conservatives are compared to the Labour lot. There's the Labour one, Fiona Onasanya, fucking perverting the court of justice for lying to the police. Yeah, she was a good choice, boys. And Diane Abbott, well, she's not fit to fucking tie Rishi... I was going to say she's not fit to tie Rishi Sunak's shoes, but she's probably still on fucking Velcro, that silly cunt. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Ranil Jayawarendra, he'll do. Stick him in. Front bench. Just pack the entire front bench with the black and minority ethnic people. As long as they subscribe to the conservative ideology, the one nation conservatism espoused by Benjamin Disraeli, the real tenets of English liberalism, freedom and equality for everybody, maximum freedom with a minimum of fuss, that's what I want from a government. And if Dominic Raab and fucking Boris Johnson are not willing to make that obvious, then step aside and let all the brown people take over, because they'd be better at the fucking job than these two losers. And that's me. I'll see you all Sunday.